Good morning. Welcome to my new video series. This is MegaMAN Battle Network, the first one. I'm going to try to get through all of them, but there are like 7, so I would not hold my breath. I'm kidding. The Battle Network series is one that I actually had a lot of fun with when I was younger, mostly because of the MegaMAN himself. I was a big fan of MegaMAN in my youth. We had the old PlayStation 1 game, which was surprisingly in 3D, which was very cool to me. You ran around as MegaMAN, sort of like a third-person shooter, but because the state of our television at the time, we couldn't really get a lot of mileage out of the game. Everything was kind of glitchy. The system didn't work properly. We just couldn't see anything, so we couldn't play it. MegaMAN Battle Network works like completely different from that. It's got its own system, battle system. You work on a little 3x3 grid against a bunch of enemies that work on a 3x3 grid, and you can move up, down, left, or right on the grid, and you use these little battle chips to do damage to your enemies. The main character is Lan, which is a, computer reference, and you kind of live with your mom and your dad. Your dad is a scientist who developed these characters, what MegaMAN is, something called a Navi, and the little devices that they live on, called a PET, which is a personal terminal. They do explain a lot of this in the game, so we'll be able to see a lot of that while we go through it. In the meantime, it's best to sort of run around here, read or speak to as many things as you can. They like to hide little battle chips in places where you wouldn't think to look. The other thing that's quite cool about the game is the dual world system, where on one level you're MegaMAN in the virtual world, and on the other level you're Lan, and Lan runs around in the real world. There's no combat in the real world. All combat takes place using MegaMAN, and it all takes place in the digital world. And this is Male. Male is a childhood friend of Lan's. Something that's actually very funny about this game is they establish a lot of characters, which I'm assuming are references to the manga or the anime. I've never actually seen the anime, and I've been meaning to. But they pretend like they know who they are. So Male exists, and you know Male. Other kids that exist are all these generic children who all use the same sprite. Then there's Dex, Yan. This is Dex here. He controls one of MegaMAN's OG villains from the original series, Gutsman. In the original series, Gutsman was a sort of a worker bot. He helped with construction. In this one, he belongs to Dex. He's his net Navi. To him, Gutsman is to him as MegaMAN is to Lan. The WWW is like the villain organization of the game. Savage Lan. So this is the digital world. Lan just used his personal terminal to jack into his work desk. This lets him operate on the work desk using MegaMAN. They're currently teaching us how to use the net battling system. Very kind of them to give us a nice tutorial, but there's a lot they don't really teach you that they sort of teach you side to side. So every now and then you'll find an NPC that tells you, hey, if you put 3 chips next to each other with the corresponding letters A, B, and C, you'll create a brand new chip. It's much cooler in the future games than it is in this one, but it's still not a bad idea. The one thing I like about this game that I sort of don't like about the future ones, but they do balance it out, your life restores itself at the end of every fight, because I guess MegaMAN just kind of recharges himself using your personal terminal, but he can't do that during fights. So you can literally finish a fight with 1 HP left, and when you come out the other side, you'll have full HP again. They do kind of flip this in a later mission, but we'll get there. So the first time I learned this technique, which is steel and then wide sword, I was so in love with it that I just basically used it all the time. I would pack like 3 steals into my game, into my folder, just so I could use it as often as possible. So you steal, boop, you step in. Another weird thing to me is because I only remember playing the later ones, I don't remember playing the first one so much, because it's kind of slow, is how slow Mega Man is. You never really realize it playing the later games, but Mega Man needs to be upgraded to move faster. So I'm used to like dodging in between attacks much better than I did in this game. You'll see. I get my butt handed to me a lot. Need to use all the things I've just taught you to beat virus. How's this a pop quiz? And so you're going to use the bomb to take out the one in the back. Oh, got hit in the face. Don't worry about that. There we go. Going to pack 3 cannons in. So you have to either match the letter or the type of chip. If you don't match the letter, you can't have more than 1 chip in your lineup. But if you match the type of chip, you can have as many of them as you want in the lineup. They don't have to have the same letter anymore. So the nice thing is, if you start out early, you can earn yourself a little bit of money by fighting Dex and Gutsman. Gutsman isn't that strong, but he can do a lot of damage. He's basically like one of those Met guards. He also does that, which is just dangerous as hell. I'm not too fond of the bomb, because you kind of have to judge where your enemy is before he gets there. Gutsman is a bit iffy on that one, because you never know when he's going to be in front of you. He kind of disappears just fast enough for it to be an issue. Oh, thank goodness. I actually whooped his ass. Here we go. This is a shotgun. Also one of my favorite weapons, just very, very weak. Eventually you kind of just swap this out for more cannons. Yeah, Gutsman knows he's about to lose. So he's just running around aimlessly. Silly Gutsman. I like they asked me if I'm back for more, and I'm ready for it. But no. Another thing that's quite cool is a lot of the exposition is given in email. So someone sends you an email, you read it, you find out what they want to tell you. Your dad sends you a power-up here. And like an idiot, I completely forgot that you're supposed to use power-ups to upgrade your Navi, to upgrade MegaMAN. So I spend the next like half an hour, 2 hours playing this game with no upgrades. So MegaMAN is just the weakest he possibly is, and I try to brute force my way through the game. On the plus side, I don't, I didn't forget as much of it as I could have forgotten. This actually makes very little sense to me. So, a virus allegedly starts causing ovens to explode. So this guy comes along to save, provide safety checks. Let me just check on your oven to make sure it doesn't explode. That type of deal. But, he's the one doing it. Like, spoiler alert, he's the one causing ovens to explode. It's not even a secret. He brags about it later. Does that mean he broke into the first person's house to cause the oven to explode? And then after that just started telling people he was from Net Safety? Or are we the only ones being told that he's from Net Safety, and unfortunately my mom is a bit, gullible to fall for this guy pretending to be from Net Safety? See, this is a good one. Use this, you pop them, take both of their health down to 20, and then when your custom loads up again, you whip out the two cannons and pop each of them in the face. Oh, even better, I've got another cross one. Up, and like a twit, I just got myself hit in the face. So again, with the speed, if you're not upgrading it, doot, doot. Don't wait for that. If you're too slow, like I was on almost both of those occasions, an enemy attack can stun you. And when it stuns you while you're trying to perform the action it takes to use one of the chips, you're just going to get stuck. Just stuck. You lose the chip, you lose the attack, and you lose a bit of your life. Don't be me. Be better than me. Boop. Now they can do nothing. So shockwave attacks and the like can't hurt you through holes in the floor, which is actually quite nice. Okay, I'm still looking for the lost program. So the main thing we're trying to do now is just... So in this case, you wait for him to attack you, and then you kill all three of them at once. One big part of this game is making sure you line up your enemies perfectly with the attacks you're delivering out to hurt as many of them as possible. You want to maximize the use out of the battle chips you use and minimize damage to yourself. Like in this one, I'm not sure if I'd do it, but you load up both cross guns, wait for the first one to attack you, and then pop all three of them at once. I do miss the step on some of them. That cannon in the background I don't want hitting me, so I tend to dodge too soon. When that happens, I mess up my timing a little bit, and that can be a bit annoying. But it gets better. Yeah, take that. After I beat Fireman, the net Navi causing the oven explosions, you can come to that spot in the corner and a ghost Fireman will show up. His whole deal is, he's the same Fireman, but now as a ghost. Ooh, that was lucky. So it gets much easier later on when I get stronger chips, but I slightly get worse and worse. The stronger chips aren't as accurate or as quick as the chips I currently have. The bomb is my slowest attack, and it's reasonably accurate against the types of enemies I'm fighting, because they don't move. Later on I get some really powerful AoE attack spells. Battle chips, like an aqua tower and things like that. They only hit one enemy, but they're really slow to use. It takes MegaMAn a hot second just to activate the ability, and it provides so much chance for my enemies just to knock me in the face. Oh, nice. So Number Man is going to hand my butt to me a bit later. I wonder if I remember if I see that. So one thing I don't use here that I actually do have access to is MegaMAN's Mega Buster. It's just like a little pistol he has in his arm that fires off one damage hits. If you upgrade his power with those power chips I mentioned earlier, he does more and more damage as you increase it. And because I didn't know you could do that, I didn't do it. See, look at that. He has 6 hits. I could have just shot him. I'm unfortunately a very lazy person, but the worst kind. No need to fret, though. I'll figure it out. Ah, found him. First try. Oh yeah, just he's in Yai's portrait network. I'm in the internet land. How do I know where that is? So it's not there. That much I know now. Somehow Dex controls access to the rest of the internet. Freaking Dex. Oh yes, if you're actually closer to enemies, you do more damage to them. For some reason, you can't fire off the next shot of your Mega Buster until the last shot hits the enemy. So the sooner the shot hits the enemy, the sooner you can fire off the next one. For some reason, this actually increases the rate of harm you can deal to your enemies, which is quite cool. Oh, cool, a sword. Shring. So an enemy right in front of you, if they're a static enemy, you can actually deal a lot of damage to using only your Mega Buster, which you can fire off a lot of hits at a time. I will alternate between going quickly and going slowly through some of this dialogue. No, I won't have a reason for it. One thing that upsets me is I don't think I've ever seen Glide fight. We never get him as a battle chip. We never really fight him ourselves. It's kind of a missed opportunity here, as far as I can see. Because I have no idea what his battle capabilities are, but he's such a, snooty weirdo. Yes, got you that time. I know it's a little bit of a waste, but it's very difficult to line up these dash idiots. Healed myself for no reason. In later games it becomes easier, but not by much. Their dash technique is still annoying, so most of the time a quick sword swipe will get rid of them. Ooh, recovery 30. Also they fly, which is just the worst. If they're flying, they don't get affected by broken panels or anything like that, while a lot of other enemies do. Oh, nice. Good job, me. Of the past. The number of times I pull off maneuvers like that are greatly outnumbered by the number of times I fiddle about with nothing. Like this, just fiddling about with nothing. I like how Yai's wallpaper is just a bunch of diamonds floating across the screen. Also, do I see this? If I'm Lan, am I watching my screen and watching MegaMAn run around like this? Because I don't control him. It's not like it's not like that. So, yeah, when he's in the internet, when he's on the web, am I watching him on my screen, like on the computer? Does it follow him around? Because that's not how computers work. And if that is how computers work, how do you have multiple tabs open? Maybe you can't have multiple tabs open. Maybe you have to rely entirely on your Navi telling you where he finds information. No, yes, if you're ever confused in this game, you can just press L and MegaMAN will speak to you. He'll give you a little bit of information, and that tends to be enough. Not always, but sometimes. There we go. Get yourself some healing. Shockwave is actually a very good attack. It's a little bit slow, but it does a lot of damage. 60. 60 is a lot. Up, look at that. That net safety guy was completely worthless in the end. Look at that. He even said it was fixed. What a liar. Okay, so I'm now going to plug my personal terminal into the currently on fire oven and stand in front of it. That's me. That's the type of child I am. Don't ask why there's an ice block in an oven, because apparently the thawing section has access to a cooling system. Is that how it works? Don't question it. It makes sense when you don't think about it. I'm in an oven, so naturally there's an ice block program. This is good. Both gone. Nice. One of the reasons the shockwaves are my favorite abilities is exactly for that purpose. Up. Silly Darren. See, that's the kind of thing that happens if you don't pay attention. The dash attack takes like a full 2 seconds to load up. Very annoying. Yeah, take that, Met Guard. Eventually the stronger ones can like yeet you. Got hit again, like a twit. Taking unnecessary risks. If I'd started the fight using the 2 bombs, I could have taken out both cannons immediately and just had to deal with the Met Guard, which can easily be taken out by a wide sword. Do whatever takes out the most enemies the quickest. Don't whittle them down if you have better options. It's much more preferable to deal with fewer enemies than it is to deal with a lot of weak enemies. The amount of damage they do doesn't decrease when they have less health. Still haven't found the right enemy yet. One of these programs is the ice block, and I've got to speak to him. The hit was worth it. Dude's dead now. Whole freaking second. It's a miracle I actually beat Fireman later, honestly. I am now running around in circles, yes. Because I didn't speak to that program from earlier in the green circle, past Darren has no idea where he's supposed to go. I blame the enemies. They distracted me. Oh, yes, another cool thing in the future games is if you hit an enemy just as they're about to attack you, you get like a bonus because you startled them. It's like a counter attack. So you get a damage bonus and a protection bonus. It's actually very cool. Okay, now speak to the random program. You silly goose. See, this is the type of thing that happens if you don't pay attention. These games, all of them, are just unforgivable. Like, why did I wait there? If I'd lined it up better, I could have hit both of them with the dash. Totally unnecessary. If I'd upgraded my speed with the power up I currently have access to, then I could have hit them both with the dash much faster, with much less fear. Oh no! See, look, there it is. Yeah, the toolbox in my room. There we go. I'd like to point out that he doesn't refill it. He just uses it immediately. Roger, roger. Almost there. So I do like no exploring in this bit, mostly because I don't trust exploration. Don't ask me how I knew that. I'm currently watching this thinking I was going to miss. And I'm in the future. Huh, good job, me. There we go. Just remember, take out any of them first. Then take out both of them last. Boop. Dead. Taking them out one at a time is okay. It's enough. But the biggest thing is make sure the one you take out first is the one that's going to give you the most issues. The one that's stopping you from taking out more of them. In this case, it's the Met Guard. The Met Guard gives you the most problems because he prevents you from accurately dodging. You can't stand in front of any of the cannons, but they stand still. The Met Guard can follow you. Ah, there he is. Fireman. Not confused with a fireman or a firefighter. He does the opposite. He sets things on fire. He's basically a giant match guy. You know, look at this. Look at him. He's like a candle. Oh, another fun thing. When you fight another net Navi, they also get a little stun lock, just like you. While they're stunned, they can't take damage. It's actually a nice bit of what they call pseudo-narrative resonance. Because he's also a Navi, he works the same way your Navi does. All of his abilities are essentially extensions of himself, just like your battle chips are, or your Mega Buster is. But instead of just a Mega Buster, he's got like this crazy flame attack. Look at this nonsense. Ha, sucks to be Fireman. Right, so get this. If MegaMAN gets deleted, you lose the game. For some reason, he doesn't have a backup system. All these other Navis, nobody seems to care that they get deleted. I'm assuming because they can back them up, but then we never fight Fireman again except as a net ghost. Like his programming floats into the internet and becomes a random encounter. Huh. Actually, I could go for a bite. Get it? Bite. Like bit. Because he's, a program. So fun. And that's it. This was the first section of the game. As part of the first section, you fight off Fireman and save your mum. It's not too long of a video, but I guess I'll see you in the next one.